So I gotta start this one off with a simple question. Do you guys have a comfort food game? Me and Trotty discussed this idea almost a year ago, discussing what is a comfort food game? A game that you go back to. Maybe you know the story completely. You know what happens in the plot lines. You know pretty much every aspect of it. Or maybe it's a game like Stardew Valley, where you just kind of keep playing and playing, even though you pretty much know what's gonna happen. There isn't a lot to the story, but there's just something comforting about it. I'm curious if you guys have those type of games. If so, please leave them in the comment section below. Maybe somebody will find a game that they hadn't heard of, or a game that they wanted to pick up, and to realize that this is a comfort food type game that might actually be interesting to them, or to me, honestly. Now, looking through all these type of games, I never really thought that Dynasty Warriors would be one of them, but as time went on, and as I've been going through my backlog like a madman, maybe because The Legend of Zelda was $70, and I have to really watch my money now, or maybe because the government has me out on the streets making it money, or maybe it's just the fact that there is not a lot of good games being released right now. Yes, there's tons on other platforms, and this is a big year for 2023 as far as, we're looking at Diablo, Street Fighter, Legend of Zelda, big names are coming out. I'm not saying that. Just a lot of medium to indie games are not really coming out. Look at the eShop and it's kind of barren. And honestly, there's a very limited amount of new releases that I'm legitimately interested in enough to do a review over. So I'm spending a lot of time in the backlog. And honestly, it feels great. I love cleaning out some of these games. Some of them I'd kind of put on my bucket list of games. Games that you want to play before, well, you kick the bucket. And when I came across Dynasty Warriors 8, my own reaction kind of surprised me, as I immediately was like, oh, I gotta play that. I need some of that in my life. That mindless fighting hundreds of thousands of dudes, and I find this comfort in the mindless combat of Dynasty Warriors. It's the type of game where you can kind of customize your character, throw them in on a battle, put your earphones on, and just listen to some punk music or some rap or whatever you're feeling at the time. And it's sort of mindless, yet there's, loose objectives. You know what you're supposed to do. You know where you're supposed to go, essentially, and just have fun. There's not a lot of punishment to the game, and definitely it doesn't require your complete attention, yet it gives you enough so while you're vibing with your music, you can also be kind of doing something. I mean, I'm a fidgety, anxious person. I have to be doing two things at once. Unless it's in bed, then that's usually 0 things, including sleeping. My guys, I get older. It is harder to sleep. You ever think oh man, I'm gonna be too old to sleep? It's ridiculous. I wake up sore. Go to bed sore. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. The point is when I'm feeling that way, I like to put on a game and just vibe with some music and chill out. And that game happens to be Dynasty Warriors 8, at least right now. That game's gonna change over time, and the mindless combat becomes too mindless after a while, and I want to go back to, my simulated farm. But for at least a good fraction of time, the mindless combat of Dynasty Warriors 8 is just really comforting and fun, and it really had me wondering, maybe I'm missing out on a whole group of other comfort food games that I'm not even thinking about. As I analyzed it, I was like, okay, well, Monster Hunters would definitely probably be one. Because then when you can kind of just go at your own pace, yes, there is a lot of difficult combat, but at the same time, you're also farming a lot of the same stuff over and over, so you could kind of just vibe out with that. And, of course, we talked about Stardew Valley. There's other games that I think could fall into this, but I'm not sure of all of them, and that's why I wanted to pose this question while also talking about my experience with this game without really talking about it. Because let's be honest, it's Dynasty Warriors. I swear to God, this is a story I grew up with. I feel like my mom was teaching me the story of the Wu Dynasty while I was in the crib, I heard about the Shu Dynasty in, my second Christmas. I know all these characters. I know exactly what happens. I know who dies, who makes it, who doesn't. And every game maybe adds a little bit more, but honestly not a lot. In fact, Dynasty Warriors 9 only added my will or my want to stop playing Dynasty Warriors. But they don't really add a lot to the story. We already know it. I'm kind of curious what happens further, and yes, this game does have a chapter where it does go in after all 3 kingdoms are set up and all the main players, or original dudes I should say, are dead and their kids are moving forward, but it still doesn't really feel like enough. And they do also have a whole Lu Bu mode, which is cool to play as Lu Bu, but honestly they kind of screw you over. It's one of those things in video games where you fight the boss and then you like add the boss to your team or whatever, and then the boss kind of sucks. And you're like, well, what happened to the dude who was just killing me over and over again and became my biggest nightmare? Now he's a chump? Like, what the hell? Do I suck that bad? You know? But that's what they do. They kind of nerf Lu Bu when you get to play as him, and I don't know. You don't have that same power, and it sucks. But it is a fun game, and I absolutely love all of the characters' uses in like different IPs, whether it be like Wo Long or there's a few RPGs I've played recently that kind of play like Suikoden, but with the Dynasty Warriors characters, and that's really fun. I appreciate all of that because I do have this connection to these characters. I swear, I've known most of these characters longer than I've known most of my family, including those two little parasites that live with me. What I'm saying ultimately though is I kind of discovered a comfort food game and I didn't expect to find one there. I've been having fun going through the backlog and I'm experiencing more and more about gaming in this like weird kind of odyssey that I'm going on, maybe forcibly, but also because I do want to. And it's interesting that I come to this point with Dynasty Warriors 8 where I understand the need for it. Like, I understand its purpose now. And before, it never really filled that way for me. Like, yes, I played all of them pretty much, but I don't know why. I just felt like I was compelled to. You know, another comfort food type game that I indulge in a lot is sports games. You know, whether it be Madden or NBA or NHL, FIFA, I play most of them, and I will keep them going in the background for a very long time, which is kind of surprising because I also review games, and it seems like I'm always attached to a video game, and then on my quote-unquote time off, I'm playing Madden. Like, really, I'm gonna have carpal tunnel by the time I'm like 45. I'm not gonna be able to use my hands at all. Like, they're just kind of, the poor little things are just gonna be destroyed here. I just find it funny because it's one of those things that only a gamer can explain what a comfort game is, and if they have them. Some gamers don't do that, and I really wish I was that gamer. I really wish I could put down some of these games like Madden or whatever, a Dynasty Warriors, Stardew Valley, and not just sink all this time. Animal Crossing, that's another big one I was thinking of. I was thinking that in my head and I just couldn't come to grips with the name. But yeah, like, I actually hate comfort gaming in so many ways because I know that I'm wasting the most important thing, and that's time. Like, I know how all this is going to turn out. It's not really going to be much of an experience for me. In fact, it's a bigger attribute to just like what music I'm listening to or what mood I'm in at the moment, you know, the vibe I got going. Not really the game, and yet it's a loss. It's a total net loss because I need to be reviewing games. I need to be going through other games in the backlog that I haven't experienced, and every time I do, I come out thankful that I did. Most of the backlog has achieved this, epic size because of these comfort games. Yeah, I'm gonna play 1,000 hours of Stardew Valley instead of playing a bunch of these other games that I've had, and when I finally do allow myself to move on, I really enjoy it. But at the same time, there has to be that reason why comfort gaming and comfort food gaming is so important. So, I don't know. I just want to have that conversation. Also, basically just say that I fully, almost 100%ed Dynasty Warriors 8 Xtreme Legends 90210-8675309 edition. But anyway, that's just a video. Kind of curious what your thoughts are. What are your comfort food games, if you will? Anyway, take care, everyone. I love y'all. Bye-bye.